Hello Internet, and welcome to a Quick Craft, Leather Notebook Edition. Now let me start by saying this was going to be a kit review for a screen printing kit that I got for my birthday, which I'm still going to do a video on. And while I was at the craft store, I saw this leather notebook kit, and I just need to rant about it for a second, let my salty crafter out a bit. This kit was $23. I got it for $10 on sale because most people probably realized it wasn't worth it. And I just want you to know, for 23 bucks, you get one little piece of veg tan leather, 3 notebooks, and some elastic bands. That's ridiculous. $10 for sure, but 23? You could buy 4 or 5 notebooks worth of veg tan for that. And the picture on the front makes me even more mad because you cannot make this notebook with the things included. It's ridiculous. So annoying. If you're selling a kit, you should be able to make the artwork on the front of the kit. This is the only thing you can make with this kit. If I was just starting out and I got this thinking I could make this specific notebook, it really would have bummed me out. I mean, you need at least a swivel knife, a border stamp, and some die markers to make this. And it doesn't even come with one or a sample piece. And this company sells other leather kits that are the same ripoff. Ugh, I just hate this. Why do that? When people buy kits, it's because they want to start a new hobby, something that they could be happy doing. So when kits do this stupid crap, they have a chance of ruining the hobby before the person even starts it. But back to what you clicked on this video for. This kit came with so little, I decided to use every tool at my disposal to make something that I think is worth 23 bucks. Also, I really like Elden Ring. So let's go ahead and get started by deciding how we want the book to stay in the cover. I could use these stupid elastic bands it came with, but I think I want to add a nice look on the inside, so I'm going to use this Cricut faux leather that I have. I'll attach this on the inside, cut some slits in it, and then slide the notebook covers in it. But first, I'm going to have to tool up the outside with this really cool Elden Ring logo. All you have to do, print it out. I traced it out with an awl because the swivel knife scares me, and then I decided to stamp the inside of the lines using a texture stamp so that the UV resin would have a better surface to stick to. Oh, what's that? I never mentioned that this was a UV resin project? Well, I really wanted the gold inside of here to pop, and I was a bit worried acrylic paint wouldn't look as good and would also come off, so I'm gonna go crazy and just slap some UV resin on it. But before the resin, I decided to add a border. I recently got this really cool pebble stamp that adds this really neat worn look to the leather, and after a bit of experimenting, I decided on these 2 stamps for the border. I want it to be kind of simple so it doesn't take away from the logo. And on video, this looks really easy, but I am telling you, it is really hard to keep them border stamps nice and even. It's also really hard when you're trying to go fast and you mess up just a little bit. You can sort of see it in the finished project, but luckily it's not that crazy of a design. I mean, by the end of it, my hand was getting ready to fall off. Especially stamping all the pebbles I did along the binding of the book, or where I guess the binding would be. It does turn out really cool, especially because I decided to antique it. I was going to dye it, but then I saw someone just antique regular leather, and it adds that really cool old worn look to the notebook. I also use a paper towel to kind of brush it dry so it adds streaks like it's been thrown in a bag and just carried for years and years. I think it turns out pretty good. And while that dries, I go ahead and make a tiny test piece that I can try adhering the resin to. I was pretty sure it would work, but when in doubt, test piece. And it adhered perfectly, so let's go ahead and just start the real piece. And because it's so satisfying to watch the logo fill with gold, I'll shut up and let you enjoy that. After what feels like 100 hours of curing, I really need to get a better lamp, it looks awesome. Honestly, I'd love to have a bookshelf full of these and have one with like a secret key to unlock my magic room. But, you know, before we get too excited, we're not done yet. We gotta cut out the faux leather to line the inside with. And I really should have measured it instead of winging it, but you know, YOLO swag or whatever. Jesus, I'm old. So to adhere this, I decided to glue the edges with Fabri-Tac, and I honestly think that wasn't quite as strong as it needed to be. I do add some rivets where the elastic holes were already cut, and I do think that adds something really cool to the overall look. If this didn't have such a big logo in it, or if I had thought about this at all instead of just making this because I was angry, I would have made the logo a little smaller so I could have riveted around the whole thing. I think that would have looked pretty cool. But for the last step, all you have to do is cut the slits in the lining to go ahead and shove your notebook in. I think I should have cut them a little farther apart because I really had to beat this cover into submission. But it works, and here it is. I gotta say, I'm super in love with this. I think this is one of the coolest things I've ever made. And I was gonna make some kind of snap closure, but then again, I didn't plan this, and I don't want to ruin the front really cool gold logo, so I'll go ahead and save that for the next time I make a notebook. But what do you think? Think it's worth 23 bucks? I think I'd pay 23 bucks for this. I've been using my channel growing as an excuse to buy crafting supplies, so thanks again for enabling my habit. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!